Hey, everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, December the 5th. And we start Monday with the moon that sets the tone, the public reaction, is in steady, calming Taurus. However, the moon once a month crosses over all the different planets, and late morning, 10, getting close to noon Pacific time, the moon will be crossing over unexpected, surprising Uranus. Now that could also be favorable for getting out of a rut, trying something new, or there might be an unexpected upset. The moon in Taurus, however, will help keep you from overreacting, keeping more calm. Now, Mercury, discerning decision-making Mercury, is going to be in a hard angle to expansive Jupiter. Now, these are two favorable planets. Mercury is the mind, it's curious, it's gathering information. Jupiter is actually the higher octave, if you will, of Mercury. Mercury is writing, as an example, and Jupiter is the publishing. Mercury is about traveling for the weekend, overnight. Jupiter is about traveling long distance or for a week or two. So these two planets are two sides of the same coin, with about traveling, education, communication. But when on Monday they're in a 90-degree angle with each other, it can mean that what you're expecting, what you're talking about with Mercury could get overinflated Jupiter. So you don't want to be having these grand expectations on Monday. You certainly wouldn't want to be committing to anything, making any promises, because what you might be disappointed later on. Now, you wouldn't want to be making travel plans because you might be spending too much money, or you may have to cut back whereas you were making plans that were too over the top or too long and needs to be short, cut back. On Tuesday, the moon continues in Taurus, late morning Pacific time, by, going towards 11 a.m. till noon. The moon will be in harmony with the Jupiter. So emotionally, the moon in steady Taurus, good with Jupiter. So the world overall is feeling a bit more optimistic about the future. This is all things Jupiter, traveling, education is favored. The moon will then leave steady Taurus and move into restless, stimulating, nervous Gemini at 12:50 p.m. Pacific time. That moon in Gemini, we tend to be more talkative, brainstorming ideas, running around, lots of errands. It's a lot of mental busyness. On Wednesday, the 7th, the moon's in Gemini, but it will be opposite the sun. And when the sun and the moon are in opposition once a month, it's a full moon. And this full moon will be in Gemini. The sun will be in Sagittarius. But this full moon is going to be very close, within a degree, of the Mars in Gemini retrograde. So that full moon could be bringing a lot of matters to a head, to a culmination. Things that have been hidden could be revealed. That's everything coming out of the darkness into the light with the full moon. Full moon in general tests relationships. And this full moon with Mars in retrograde, and the full moon's in Gemini, aligning with the Mars in Gemini in retrograde, there could be a lot of anxiousness, impulsiveness. You might be more irritable. If you are around people, friends, family, whoever, where they're being a bit irritable, anxious, argumentative, don't engage, because with the full moon, it'll only blow up and get worse. Just detach. I always like to say, hold that thought. There's something I've got to do. I got to run to the store. I forgot an appointment. And then you break the energy and you get away. On Thursday, the moon, still in Gemini, is going to be in a stressful angle to nebulous, foggy Neptune. But that's just around 9, maybe 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. And then that too shall pass, and there's no other important planetary events for the rest of the day. So we're back to a lot of networking, correspondence, calling up people, running around, running errands, the moon in Gemini. But in the morning, Pacific time, with the moon at difficult angle to Neptune, you might be confused, or information that could be more prone to misunderstandings. So it's only an hour or so. What you should do, again, if you're feeling fuzzy, out of focus, maybe unsure about what you're hearing, go for a walk, go exercise, meditate, just calm the chatter, calm the mind. On Friday, the moon is now in Cancer, where Gemini, when the moon's in Gemini, we're overly stimulated mentally, we're restless, we're jumping from one idea to the next. When the moon once a month goes into Cancer for a couple of days, Cancer wants to stay at home. Cancer represents home and family. The moon in Cancer, we tend to be more reflective and often thinking about our past, our childhood. But overall, moon in Cancer for the weekend, we would rather just hang out with family, hang out at home. Now, pleasure-seeking Venus will be aspecting expansive Jupiter in a hard angle, like on Monday with Mercury to Jupiter. So the Venus to Jupiter, that hard angle to Jupiter is that overinflated over-expectation. So a couple of things. With Venus to Jupiter, you could be spending too much money. But you might be feeling really good and optimistic about it because of the Jupiter, only later to regret it when the credit card bill comes in. The Venus-Jupiter, Venus is the pleasures of life. We're going into a Friday evening, and you might go out with friends or with your partner and spend too much money. But you may also overindulge in the pleasures of life and drink too much, eat too much, and you are loving it because of the Jupiter. But then you may regret it the next day, not just because of all the money you spent, but maybe you have a hangover. You just ate too much, perhaps. Saturday, the moon continues in Cancer. There's no other important planetary events, but in the evening, 9:10 p.m. So a lot of that Pacific time. So a lot of the world, it is a Saturday night, but a lot of the world may already be asleep, especially on the East Coast of the United States, Europe. It's in the morning hours. And that moon will be in harmony to Neptune in the late evening Pacific time. That is very favorable for charity, compassion, intuition. But Neptune also represents dreams, and in harmony with the emotional sensitive Cancer moon, you could have very vivid, lucid dreams. Now, Sunday, the moon continues in domestic, caring Cancer, but in late morning we'll be in harmony with Jupiter. So we'll all be waking up, at least on the Pacific coast side, and with the Jupiter feeling so much more optimistic and hopeful about the day. But the moon is going to leave more emotional, personal, domestic Cancer and move into Leo at 12:10 p.m. Pacific time, and then be in Leo for the next couple of days. Cancer wants to stay at home or just pull more inward, be more private in general. When the moon is in Leo, Leo wants to shine, wants to go to a party, wants to have a good time. Leo is more extroverted in nature, and the Cancer is more introverted. So from the early afternoon Pacific time, with the moon going into Leo, that might be when you're tired of staying at home, you're tired, of just, doing household chores, and now you want to get out there Sunday and have some little romance, play some sports, enjoy life, just get out there and have a good time for most of you. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.